Good evening. This is the Northern Sun Experience, joined right away by former Augustana point guard Jordan Dalton to talk about the men's Central Region Tournament. The craziness of the conference tournament has finally died down. Now we're in the Division II tournament. Just a quick explanation of how this all works. The tournament consists of 64 teams made up of 8 different regions with 8 teams each. The Central Region includes the NSIC as well as the MIAA and the GAC. Now each conference gets an automatic qualifier, whoever won the conference tournament, followed by 5 at-large bids that can be divided in any way. So with that all being said, let's start, as I said, on the men's side. Augustana is one of 3 teams in. They're the #1 seed. They're hosting once again for the 2nd straight year. Minnesota State Moorhead is the 3 seed. Minnesota State Mankato is the 6 seed. For Augustana, Jordan, this is the exact same situation as last season. #1 seed hosting the Central Region Tournament at the Sanford Pentagon. So how are they approaching this?
Yeah, I would have to imagine they're approaching this as a brand new season. You know, they had 2 great historic regular seasons last 2 years, which is phenomenal. But they've kind of stated from the beginning that hasn't been their main focus. They want to win the regional and make some noise in the NCAA tournament. And so that's why I say right now, they saw what happened last year when you have one poor evening. That can really end and spoil what has been so far, like I said, a great and historic season. So, you know, with them bringing virtually everybody back from last year's team, you got 3 great leaders in Jansen, Schilling, and Richter. I think they'll be really buttoned up and really focused this entire week of practice because they understand it's a one-game season now. You know, you win in advance or you lose and go home. So I would imagine they're going to come out with a tremendous amount of focus and intensity right from the get-go.
You mentioned it. They lost in the 2nd round last season. We're going to get to that in a little bit later. But as you said, their historic run, 59-5 is their overall record over the past 2 seasons. Quite simply amazing. So let's start from the bottom of the bracket. Minnesota State, the 6th seed. They're the last NSIC team in. But considering that they lost Connor Miller, Zach Monahan, Asim Rai, their top 3 scores from last season, how impressive is the Mavericks season?
Yeah, it's been truly fantastic what the Mavericks have been able to do this entire season. Like you said, you talk about all the obstacles that they overcome, virtually losing all of their scoring from last year's team with those 3 great players you just mentioned. Not only that, bringing in 9 new players. And then on top of that, this season, midway through the year, you lose one of your top scorers on the team. And so all they've been able to do is finish 2nd in the South Division and make their 4th straight NCAA appearance. And so it's really great and speaks volumes to the resiliency of the Mavericks this year as a group, being able to, predominantly new guys, been able to come together, bond, trust in one another, and still have a really, really phenomenal season. And that's why year in and year out you typically see Minnesota State, Mankato on top or near the top of the NSIC, is because they do have an ability to bring in guys with their 1 or 2 year guys and to just gel right away. It's kind of a part of their program that they've really been able to perfect. And so just hats off to those guys for being able to, like I said, kind of have some resiliency, build some camaraderie in a relatively short period of time and really have a great season. And
kudos also to head coach Matt Morgenthaler, 4th straight NCAA tournament appearance and 4th straight 20-win season. Well, Minnesota State Moorhead, the 3 seed, how did they rebound from the NSIC championship? They lost to Augustana. The emotion of that game, plus they have key injuries.
Yeah, and like you said, I think what they have to do is kind of not overreact, but also take away some of the positives from that game. You know, one of the big positives was Aaron Lean. You know, he went off for 31 points, hitting 6 3-pointers that game. He did a great job. I thought the Dragons did a great job of putting him in a lot of pick and pop situations, really opening him up and freeing him up on the perimeter for some great looks from the outside. And then I also thought they did a great job of really controlling the tempo of that basketball game, especially in the 2nd half. You have Isaac Seavley, who only plays 6 minutes in the 2nd half due to foul trouble. And so I thought the Dragons did a great job just slowing down the tempo of the game, really dragging out every single possession using the entire 30-second shot clock, and limiting the number of possessions in that game. And I thought they did a good job of kind of throwing Augie off balance on the offensive end. So you look at some of those positives from that game, understanding that typically Isaac Seavley is going to play more than 19 minutes in most games. And so you're able to build off of that. Hopefully they can get, you know, one or if not both of those guys back from injuries to come in and help them in this regional tournament. But they still had a great performance in that championship game.
Yeah, a couple of those guys. Gijel Sangalo broke his finger late in the regular season. They're hoping to have him back for this region tournament. And then Ayub fell hard and had a hip injury, and he missed the NSIC championship. Well, as I mentioned, Augie beat MSU Moorhead once again for the 2nd straight year in the title game. Should the bracket fall correctly, we thought this would happen last year. It could happen this year. they could meet for the Central Region Championship. But the key is they've won 4 straight against MSU Moorhead, so how have they been able to do it?
I think if you just look at Augie's versatility on the offensive end, that's really what's been able to propel them in the last 4 victories over MSU Moorhead. You talk about this latest game in the championship game of the NSIC tournament. The Dragons played a lot of 2-3 zone. You know, like we talked about it, had limited players. They only played 6 players in the entire game and had some players in foul trouble. So Augie was able to kind of adjust what they normally do on the offensive end. And I thought Casey Schilling was absolutely phenomenal, kind of finding some areas in that high post area, almost playing like a point forward. You know, he would get the ball in the high post, was able to score, obviously, putting up 26 points, but also did a great job with high-low passes down to Dan Jansen or kickouts to Richter or Byer on the 3-point line. I really just thought, heck, he almost had a triple-double that entire game, you know, 26, 9, and 8. So I really just think the Vikings' ability to, no matter what the defense throws at them, to take advantage of it. I really think that's why they've been able to win 4 straight versus the Dragons.
Casey Schilling, the tournament MVP. Now, the 2 seed in this region is Northwest Missouri State. This is getting back to what I talked about earlier. Northwest Missouri State, that's the team that beat Augustana, upset them in the 2nd round last season. So maybe a sigh of relief for the Vikings that MSU Moorhead would have to face them in the 2nd round?
Yeah, I think anytime you can kind of delay or reduce the probability going against a lightning-quick guard like Justin Pitts, you're going to take advantage of it. But we talked about it earlier. Heck, they had a great game earlier this season between Northwest Missouri State and Augie. You know, it took a Dan Jansen 30-foot bomb to give Augie the victory. With all that being said, this is still just a 1-game season. You know what I mean? You have to win to advance. And so, well, I think for us, it would be phenomenal to see those 2 teams battle again in the championship round. I'm sure Augie is just thinking, hey, we just got to take care of business against Harding in the 1st round. That's all they're focused on. That's all they should be focused on. Because, once again, that entire team has understood or has seen what happens if you don't bring your best effort each and every night when it comes regional playoff time. So I think they'll be excited for the potential, to play down the road against Northwest Missouri State again, but they're really just trying to win in advance.
Yeah, Northwest Missouri State beat Augustana 66-65 in last season's tournament, and then, as you said, they needed a Dan Jansen buzzer beater to beat them 79-77 in this regular season. So all things considered, Augustana knows the situation at hand. They have a great senior class. This is their last rodeo. How can they advance to the Elite 8, and will they advance to the Elite 8?
Yeah, I do think they're on a mission right now. Like I said, this has been their goal from the beginning of the year. So I do think they will, at the end of the day, advance to the Elite 8. But I think they have to buckle down defensively. They're such a talented offensive team that I think sometimes they can lose focus on the defensive end because they know virtually every time down the court they can get a makeable shot. So I think they will have to limit their lapses that they have on the defensive end. But like I said, when it's all said and done, hopefully the Vikings will be cutting the nets down at the Pentagon as regional champs this year.
Well, we shall see. The Central Region Tournament starts March 12th at the Pentagon. Well, when we come back, Jordan and I are going to break down the Women's Central Region Tournament.
The Northern Sun Experience on Midcoast Sports Network is presented by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine and Dakota Land Honda.
And welcome back to the Northern Sun Experience. Once again, joined by Jordan Dalton. We're going to talk the Women's Central Region Tournament now. 3 NSIC teams in this region as well. Winona State is the 4 seed. The University of Sioux Falls, the conference champion, is the 7 seed, and Northern State is the 8 seed. I want to get this question out of the way right now. Considering Augustana's run in the conference tournament, do you think maybe the Vikings deserved a shot?
You know, first of all, you got to tip your hat to Augustana and especially Sophie Kinney and the way they finished out this season in the NSIC tournament. That performance by Sophie Kinney was one of the best I've ever seen at this level with the stakes so high. Like you said, they knew they were going to have to do everything in their power to try to get into the regional. And Sophie Kinney, the way she led that team, both on the court, she's just magnificent off the pick and roll, magnificent getting the ball in the paint, finishing, getting her teammates involved. Like I said, one of the best point guard performances I have ever seen at this level. So first of all, I just want to tip my hat and salute Sophie Kinney and the Vikings for that. As far as, you know, did they deserve to get in? I think we would all like to say yes, but saying that would also mean that one of the other teams, whether it was Northern State or one of the other teams from the other conference, did deserve it. And, you know, the nature of this business is There's 8 teams in the region,
right.
and Augie just didn't happen to be one of them. But they don't have anything to hold their heads down about. The way they finished that season, like I said, was just phenomenal to watch and made for a great, exciting basketball. And they should be proud of the way they ended that season.
Augustana entered that conference tournament as the 10 seed in the region, so probably just didn't have quite enough to get up into that top 8. So let's get to the teams who are in. Start with the 8 seed Northern State. They lost in the semifinals to Sioux Falls. So how do the Wolves regroup because they're facing number 1 Emporia State?
Yeah, I think number 1, they have to realize this has to be a defensive battle. You know, they still did a great job all season long and even, you know, winning 6 out of their last 7 games. So until that loss in semifinals, they were still on a hot streak and playing great basketball. But they just have to get back to what's built them over the past, and that's hard-nosed, tough, physical defense. You know, over those over that 7-game stretch, they were able to hold every opponent except for one to under 65 points. And so, like I said, that's been their calling card. They've showed the ability to score the basketball, obviously, you know, scoring in the 70s multiple times this year. But their calling card is a defensive end. And I think if they have a shot at pulling the upset, they're going to have to make it, like I said, a knockdown, drag-out, physical type of play, or physical type of game, excuse me, if they do want to come out victorious.
Yeah, defense definitely the name of the game for Northern State because even though they're one of 3 NSIC teams in the region, they finished the season 10th out of 16 teams in scoring. So the University of Sioux Falls, they win their first NSIC championship over Augustana. Travis Traphagen's teams, they've improved the record every year they've been in the conference since 2012. They get a 7 seed with 27 wins, and they have to play the host school, Pittsburgh State, the 2 seed. Does that ranking maybe come off as a slight, and can they use it as motivation?
Oh, I think coaches will use anything as motivation, to be honest with you. But I'm sure they're just excited to continue to play. You know, they took care of business in the tournament, like you said, coming out as tournament champions. So now, brand new season. They could care less what they're ranked. They can care less what they're seated at. They're just excited to continue to play basketball. And when you have a player like Taylor Varshaw on your team, you can win any tournament you're in. She's liable to go off for 20-plus any given night out there, and also makes the game so much easier for her teammates because she is such a threat on the offensive end behind the arc that there is so much attention on her. So, like I said, motivation or whatever it may be, hey, they understand, win in advance. That's all we got to do. We don't care where we're seated. We don't care who we're playing. If we come out, take care of business on our end, we should come out victorious.
Taylor Varshaw, the NSIC Player of the Year, as well as the NSIC Tournament MVP. Well, Winona State, they lost in the semifinals to Augustana in a great overtime battle. Didn't really impact them too much. They fell from the 3 seed in Central Region to the 4 seed. They're playing Fort Hays State, and they actually have the best overall record of any team in the region at 29-3. So can they rebound from that Augie loss and potentially make some noise?
I think they absolutely can. I mean, if you look at the game they lost against Augustana, it's like I said, a 1-point game in overtime. That game could have went either way. You look at Winona State; they've been playing great this entire season on both ends of the court. You know, they're top 2 defensive team in the conference, number 1 scoring team in the conference, and so I think just their consistency all season long has led me to believe that you're never going to count, you know, these ladies out. You know, they come, they play hard on the defensive end every single time. They got some great perimeter scoring, you know, on the offensive end. So I really think they can do a great job at making some leadway and making some noise in this regional tournament. You don't get to the record that they're at by playing inconsistently and not being able to bounce back from tough losses. So like I said, tough loss. They've had 10, 14 days, you know what I mean, to move on from it and prepare for the regional. And at the end of the day, this is the position you want to be in anyway.
29-3. Their 3 losses were by a combined 9 points this season. Well, very quickly, considering all the movers and shakers and all the shakeup in this tournament and the season, how would you just assess the women's teams overall in this NSIC season?
Yeah, I think when you look at the women's side in the NSIC, you just understand the top 5, 6 teams in that conference are so competitive. And each and every night, they're going to have a battle on their hand. I think that's what makes it one of the most exciting conferences to watch in women's basketball is because night in and night out, you're going to see very high-level, very competitive basketball. And as a basketball fan, that's all you can ask for.
All right, thank you very much, Jordan Dalton. Well, when we come back, we're going to have a quick primer on the NSIC wrestlers competing in the NCAA Division II Championships.
The Northern Sun Experience on Midcoast Sports Network is presented by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine and Dakota Land Honda.
Welcome back. Well, Sioux Falls once again is the hub for all things NSIC this weekend. Along with the Augustana men's basketball team hosting the Central Region Tournament, the National Wrestling Championships will be held at the Denny Sanford Premier Center, and 21 NSIC wrestlers will have a chance to take home the national crown. At 125 pounds, Upper Iowa's Malik Williams and St. Cloud State's Brett Velasquez, the Central Region champion, will compete. At 133, Upper Iowa's Matt Paulus, along with the region champion Blake Bosch from MSU Moorhead. At 141, Matt Nelson of St. Cloud State is the NSIC's only wrestler. At 149, Damian Penachet of Upper Iowa and champion Jay Hildreth of St. Cloud State will compete. 157, Jordan Rinkin of Upper Iowa and Matt Mincy of Minnesota State. At 165, region champion Clint Poster of St. Cloud State and Zach Bennetts of Upper Iowa. At 174 pounds, the Huskies' Clayton Jennison and Minnesota State's Adam Cooling. And at 184, the NSIC gets 3 of the 4 spots, with region champion Arrow Amo of Augustana, Uthman Rabu of St. Cloud State, and Scott Vandeloo of Minnesota State. 197 pounds, region champion Joe Gomez of Northern State, and Ryan Parmalee of Upper Iowa. And finally, in the heavyweights at 285, the NSIC also gets 3 wrestlers, region champion Austin Gorgon of St. Cloud State, Malcolm Allen of Minnesota State, and Cole Wilson from Southwest Minnesota State. The NCAA Division II Wrestling Championships start this Friday, March 11th, and conclude on Saturday the 12th. When we come back, we go under the Northern Sun at Northern State University.
The Northern Sun Experience on Midco Sports Network is presented by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine and Dakota Land Honda.
Welcome back. It's time to shine the spotlight on one of our member schools with a feature we like to call Under the Northern Sun. Tonight, it's Northern State University in Aberdeen, South Dakota.
Northern State University is the heart of South Dakota's largest northeastern city, Aberdeen. NSU enrolls 3,580 students each year and offers 43 undergraduate bachelor's programs, 7 associate degree programs, and 9 master's degree programs. The university has been recognized as one of the best and most affordable institutions in the Midwest. Since its inception in 1901, NSU has been dedicated to providing a superior education for students and student athletes alike. Northern State sponsors 15 NCAA Division II intercollegiate athletics programs, and known as the Wolves, they continue to rise through the conference ranks as a member of the NSIC. Bright futures start here.
be a Wolf is, for me individually and our team, is to just play with as much passion as we can. All of us play with a lot of passion and it's fun.
It's an opportunity to succeed whether you're on a team of 17 or 38.
Being a Wolf means more than being part of the team. It's being part of a community. Go Wolves.
At Northern, it feels like one big team because all of us athletes get to know each other. We all compete in the weight room and in the classroom, and we all support each other when we're all competing.
Being a Wolf to me means being part of a team and always feeling included.
What it means to me is to be a part of a big family. I've got like 100+ brothers, and then the whole Wolves community is a big family to me.
Being a student athlete to me means giving your full potential day in and day out, whether it's in the classroom, during practice, or at a race, and at the end of the day, just knowing that you gave your best.
Me being a Wolf is having a sense of community because all us athletes are in it together for Northern State University, and I signed here when I was 17, I was a junior in high school, and now that I've been here for 2 years, I think I would stay here until I was 38.
Being a Wolf is about being a part of a family away from home.
I think being a Wolf is great because Northern provides a good environment to push yourself academically and athletically.
To me, being a Wolf means being a part of a community and a program that really makes you feel like you're cared about and makes you excited to play in front of your fans.
To me, being a Wolf means being part of a legacy, as I've been following both my parents' footsteps coming to Northern and having them come to all my games and cheer for me has been an amazing experience.
I feel appreciated here, and I enjoy the opportunity to grow and learn from everyone every day here.
To me, being a Wolf athlete means not just being an individual, but being a part of something else. You get to work for your team, and you get to strive and exceeding in everything for someone else. Something about Northern that makes us greater is that we're a smaller campus, so we have lots of support. We also have all the great opportunities of a bigger campus. Plus, the community is great. They're always...
Being an NC Wolf is extremely important to me because the type of relationships you make on campus with all the athletes is something that never happens anywhere else that I've ever been a part of. So the relationships I've made and then the sort of bonding you make with teammates is something very special.
Being a Wolf means striving to be your best in the classroom as well as on the field.
What it means to me to be Northern State Wolf, just having pride in everything you do, doing a great job I feel like is expected in this community and at this school, taking pride out on the football field and in the classroom. I mean, as you can see all these great athletes that are behind me, doing it for all those guys and all the athletes to come. That's what being a Wolf to me really means.
To me, being a Wolf means being a role model, not only in the community, but for the younger children, and stepping up and being the best person that you can be.
When we come back, a final preview of the weekend ahead, including another national championship featuring more than 36 NSIC athletes.
The Northern Sun Experience on Midcoast Sports Network is presented by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine and Dakota Land Honda.
Just a quick reminder of the schedule ahead: NCAA Wrestling Championships in Sioux Falls, NCAA Indoor Track and Field Championships in Pittsburgh, Kansas, and the Central Region Men's Basketball Tournament also in Sioux Falls, March 12th, 13th, and 15th.